Last time y'all learned a lot of things.
We did.
I got to ask a lot of questions. And that is what happened. No one died, which is really good.
Yeah, it's always good.
And you got some new goodies. Some slightly more useful than others. Mithril armor, maybe more useful than cufflinks. Cufflinks are real pretty, so that helps too. Vanya could always use a. It makes it sound like he needs to be prettier, but he's already very pretty. But only benefits.
He just looks even more professional now.
What if he gets like +1 to persuasion because he looks professional? He looks fancy.
I think he would have to. Some of that fanciness would have to leak into his demeanor first, probably.
Yeah, I think that if Vanya were a different human being, then perhaps. But also, he has +2 to charisma. He's actually, I would say, Vanya is mechanically more charismatic than Kiva is, which is crazy because Vanya does not sound like he would be, but he has
the logos part down.
Yes.
He has ignored all other, no ethos, no pathos, only logic.
And you know what? Sometimes that's all you need.
Which he does a good job of convincing people that he knows what he's talking about.
Because he kind of does. You know. There you go. And you guys got basically you guys got to ask a lot of questions. I didn't write down all the questions you asked because to get a summary of them right now. It's thunderstorming here, and it was just a really loud crash I heard through my headphones, so that was crazy.
We had a huge storm here the other day. I guess it was Monday. Yeah. It was really bad.
It was raining yesterday, I think, like in the evening and Monday evening. And it was raining a lot, like pretty much all day today, I think. But I don't think it was thundering.
Yeah. We had
90 something today. It was.
It was pouring and thundering all day Monday here. And sometimes we had some good sideways rain. I had to take Joplin to the vet, and the fact that we were soggy didn't help. But I was glad that wasn't a D&D day, because our power flicked on and off like 5 or more times.
I think that luckily in New York, I feel like power doesn't, well, I'm not going to say it out loud, but, well, I guess I am, but knocking on wood, that like I feel like power isn't as affected so much by that because we're in the city. I feel like grid is just different than, right? Like when I'm at my parents' house, it's different. We do lose power, but I've never, knock on wood, really strong, never lost power.
I think it's because all the tall buildings.
And it's like they design it so that the lightning goes to the places they want it to go in New York. Basically the tallest buildings with large poles. Yeah,
because that helps with the wind too, because a lot of times here it's less about the lightning hitting things and more about wind messing something up.
Yes. Okay, so we are starting off with, well, I gotta get rid of this and make so we can just look at the map so that it's not as depressing as looking at the end of two sessions ago. But we left off, you all were taking your time in this chamber. You guys got some goodies. You asked a lot of questions. Fendir had made it clear that they thought that they would be able to speak more freely in this chamber than in others, and so that perhaps it's best to ask any other further questions you might have before departing again. But it seemed like you guys were sort of wrapping up.
Yeah.
I did think of one more question that I want Viren to ask.
which is why I wanted to start there, just to make sure there's nothing else that would be, yeah.
All right. Then, dear. So, when you first attuned to the anchor, and then your first time participating in the color ceremony thingy, did your beautiful, luscious hair get more orange? No, wait. Are we in orange? Or did it get more red? Is what I meant.
Which is a hard
to
question
say.
for someone who seems to have potentially had very red hair their entire life.
Yeah. And also, yeah. So,
And like, did you find yourself with like some new things that you weren't able to do before afterwards? Like immediately afterwards, not like weeks. Like woke up the next day, your hair was different. You feel a little bit more resistant to poison for some reason.
These are very specific hypothetical examples, Farron.
I don't know what you're talking about.
well, actually, hold on, let me look something up really quickly so I can say this correctly. That's a bit of a hard question to answer. Do you all hear that?
Hmm?
Yeah. Do you guys hear the? Oh, sorry, I jumped because there's thunder. The thunder was really loud and made me jump.
Yeah.
Farron, I'm sorry to not have a very useful answer for you, but I'm a dwarf, and we sort of are always resistant. I was born with poison resistance. Because
Is that all dwarves?
resilience.
I thought that was just like Dwagar or whatever you call them that are pronounced like.
I double checked to make sure why they have it, but yeah, they born resistance is something for all dwarves.
Okay, what if it's not specifically poison? What if are you like a little bit more resistant to like acid or something or fire? Fire is red-ish.
I do feel a little bit more resistant to fire, but that's sort of been in the past, since we defeated the big bad guy in the room. Sort of felt my connection to the prism and as a maker and forge of mortality increase as I became more devoted in my clericdom, which is weirdly not in my character sheet, so I do need to add that. But yeah, my hair's sort of always been red as well, and I never really noticed if it got more red after, because it's always just sort of been this like sort of color. Does that answer your question?
Can Farron make a perception or like investigation check to look really closely at their hair, at Fendir's hair?
You didn't see it before.
Well, yeah, maybe if I look really closely, I can tell that there's like a slight hue difference between the stuff at like the roots and the stuff at the base.
Farron, make me instead.
Farron would like to compare the curtain to the drapes.
Hold on. Did you say history?
Actually, make me instead. Actually, don't even history check. Farron, you remember? You were in the chamber as this ritual happened, with all these people who had at least been that sort of role for the past year. And you think back and you don't remember anyone having an obvious tie to the sort of colors that their province received from the spectrum of the prism. That said, well, Thaldrak was I believe he was a purple dragon.
Yeah.
So Thaldrak was purple dragon, a dragonborn rather, not a dragon, dragonborn.
That'd be sick though if he was a dragon.
He's a lame-o. He's not sick. He's
maybe
lame.
The actual king
and then
ruler.
John Gardner from John Fields is a lion folk, so a Leonin, so he is yellow, but that's sort of what the color of him as a person would be, regardless, to your knowledge. And then Arvina is a sort of bluish green like tint because she's a fish humanoid, like a fishy, mermaidy, Triton fish person. And then Rhiannon, I don't think
she wasn't blue.
She wasn't. She was a black woman, visibly, as far as you could tell.
She didn't have like a cyanotic tone to her.
Yeah, no, she. That is not mine. Those my notes? Those are not mine. I have so many different pages of different notes of different versions of notes that I'm like, let me go find the right one that I didn't open yet. Because I have my Bible doc, but then I also have my like ruminating doc that is not necessarily. So let me pull up Rhiannon. Yeah, she had dark brown skin hanging off her bones like leather, gray and white locks tied up on top of her head, wrapped scarf around front hairline to keep them back, nose pierced with a polished bone ring. She had stretched earlobes and wooden bangles.
That lady looked so
she had a wereboar companion.
I forgot about the wereboar.
Yeah. So wereboar companion that she was sitting cross-legged on until the battle broke out. I mean, she did have like there's blue in her scarves, but nothing on her person. I think that's all the colors. Viridia is a red skin tiefling. So you are free to still investigate. You are free to investigate further Fendir's hair, but you don't.
No,
now that you're thinking about it, there is were no obvious markers on all the other folks in the similar roles that you can come to mind. That said, you also only saw them. You saw them fully clothed, so maybe they all have
tramp stamps.
The carpet doesn't match maybe they all dyed their hair. Maybe they all have tramp stamps, or the carpet doesn't match the drapes, or whatever else. You aren't sure.
I don't feel like asking if the carpet matches the drapes today. I'm a little fucked up, and not in a good way.
I've just had a thought. Is Fearin a member of the Council of Colors now?
I thought we said that technically no, she wasn't, or something. But
Fendir sort of ponder for a moment. I don't think so, because Thaldrak was resuscitated shortly after the event and was able.
Right, I forgot that. Okay, that said, yeah.
I mean, I said Fearin's connection to Amisha is probably a bit stronger than Thaldrak's is until the next Prism Stage ritual, just because of the nature of being the living tie to the region. So a little bit fuzzy right now, honestly.
Your knowledge of and connection to the anchor here, though, that's something that, like, your knowledge of it as the anchor came from being told about it explicitly, not from an implicit connection through becoming the guardian, correct?
In theory, the same person wouldn't have to do both, but since it's sort of
right,
the similar goals. I think it sort of made sense for Redona to keep it the same person.
Okay, cool. I had forgotten Thaldrak was alive. So also we've now solved my follow-up question, which was going to be, if Firin was now in that role, who in the world were we going to contact about, hey, look out for Amacia's anchor? But we're good. If Thaldrak's alive, I just forgot.
So I feel like we've talked about this, but remind me, does the Council of Colors do anything else? Or do they just get together to do the ritual?
Do they have mixers?
Yeah, do we have staff parties? Do we get paid?
Well, as I just said, you're not actually on the council.
I don't know why I said we.
But not so much parties, but when we're in town, we get together occasionally, and it's helpful to have sort of the connection to the other sort of folks in the different provinces. So there's the sort of actual governing body of Prismara, and that sort of, they do the actual leaders of each province do the sort of trade deals and the trading back and forth for goods, so that everybody gets food from Jean, and they get the various minerals and things we mine here in Redona, because Port Colly's not growing a whole lot of food, but they have their own resources. The basalt and sort of volcanic resources are really good for other things. So there is sort of the public-facing group that does sort of manage that is sort of based mostly in Prisma proper. But those folks, they're pretty much based in Prisma, and they sort of live in Prisma, and so they're really more Prisman than they are members of their own regions, and so they sort of have a comfy life there. So they're sort of like the folks running the city of Prisma, and by proxy also all the regions, because they're wheeling and dealing there, and sort of making those deals and arrangements. Sort of where I stay in the Redonian embassy house when I'm there in the city. And then the council is sort of the underground, sometimes literally, as you saw, group that is looking after, that would do the ritual, which is not, it is, I know it seems like just one day, but it is sort of one of the most important things we possibly could do in the continent, because it renews the life and vigor to the land. So even though it's just a day, it's really not just anything. It's actually like quite a big deal for us to be doing. And then that sort of looking more after the prism of it all, and sort of things like the anchors, things like the magical art and spirit of the continent, that folks, normal folk just aren't privy to, because imagine what folks would do if everyone knew there actually was a never-ending vein of mithril. So we're sort of a little bit secret keepers, just to sort of safeguard things, and so and sort of Lady LeBlanc, she's sort of that linchpin between the, because she's also very public on the actual the actual folks who run things, and then also represents the Council of Colors as sort of advocate with her power and political capital in both things. So she's sort of the only one that's really like that, make both sides. But then again, the Aldrak's part of the royal family, so he is also sort of part of the rule. And as I said, my friend's gonna be the next ruler of Verdona. So we're all sort of adjacent. Arvino's up like in line for the throne. So we all have some sphere of influence within our own regions, and we all live usually in the actual regions where we're representing, so we can actually report on what's going on and be able to share that perspective as well. But yeah, it's a little shady, I can acknowledge, but you know, it is what it is. Does that answer your question? Because I don't remember what the question actually was once I started talking.
Yeah,
It
sure.
explains things. I don't know if we asked a specific question that led to this, but I think you were explaining something so that we would not keep asking wrong questions.
There are no wrong questions.
Well,
Just
yeah, but
things
there
we-
are unhelpful questions.
Well, there's just things you don't know about the world.
Yeah.
And that's fun to talk about for ad nauseum.
Is there anything else that Fendir thinks we should know that we are like not asking?
Great. Let me double check.
Oh, quick thing first. Fendir, did you ever happen to meet my uncle, Merrick?
Roll me D20 luck check.
I'd love to. So that's bad. That's a 2.
Yikes.
That's okay. You gotta shoot your shot. Gotta ask if people have met your uncle.
I might have. I've met a lot of people in the past couple of years, but do you have a photograph or a portrait of what he
No.
looks like? Right. So not so good. I will say that I've met a fair number of aperture monks from just because they do play the sort of role in the ritual. So there's sometimes been different
Yes.
folks there. But sort of once I see the blue, the robes sort of all look the same. But you got it. Your hat is nice, makes it stand out for sure.
Thank you.
And the eye patch too. Gotta say,
That was
honestly,
less of an intentional choice.
I'd hope so, because that'd be a pretty stupid aesthetic choice.
It came with stupidity, regardless.
Have a hard time believing you could ever be stupid, Vanya.
I could have avoided the situation by utilizing the proper safety equipment.
Huh? And Fendir will show off. He has like, I can understand that, and shows off their hands, which are hands as a working person, covered in burns. They're a jeweler. They're things. They have burns on their hands and things. They show you some particularly gnarly ones on their forearms from like smithing equipment that they picked up with their bare hand when it was still too hot, or just lines where they like they accidentally like nicked the side of a hot thing. I'm feeling suddenly more impervious to fire though, so perhaps I'll be a little bit less hurt doing my day job. Kind of a nice perk.
That does seem helpful.
To fit in, Firen's like, oh yeah, I have scars too, and then points to a spot on her face that does not have a scar, and then she's like, oh right.
Oh, right.
I mean, I think that you guys have asked like so many questions. I think you guys have gotten sort of everything that I expected to come up.
Yay!
Cover. You guys are. Yeah. Let me just double.
Good for us.
It's sort of everything. Yeah. I can't think of anything else that Fendir would think of in this moment. Right. Maybe. I don't know if this will work, but there is usually a sort of teleport circle to get back to the surface quick from the mine, just in case of emergency. I don't know how it'll quite work, but I'm usually just sort of shoot you out to the closest entrance. So I'm thinking we could just do that instead of going back through the hard way.
Was there
like
anyone that we left anywhere that we need to go back through?
I mean, weren't there like hundreds of other people stuck on the other floors of the mine, like other levels of the mine?
Yes, there were. Your understanding from your communications with the Ironbrow sister, and the map that you have, and sort of your discussions from above ground, was that the way that the mine had collapsed, they had not been able to access those floors from the floor that you had accessed. So you don't believe that you don't believe that you'll be able to go in the same way you are already in. If you want to go explore those places, you would have to go find another entrance to the mine.
Yeah.
So Fendir will sort of, I think that if we want to go help with recover some of the other people who are missing, maybe best to get to the surface and start again, because, now it's been another 12 hours or so that we've been sort of in here and doing all these things that perhaps, they were sort of had. Anna's brain's not working. They had reinforcements on the way. Usually when a mine collapse like this happens, they're able to send out warning signals, and folks from other settlements nearby will come to help. So I'm hoping, last time I saw a mine collapse like this was quite a few years ago. I was more of a kid than anything, but I'm hoping that some of the other engineers from nearby can be able to help and dig folks out that way. So, but if you want to fear, and if you want to go back and you want to find another passage, you want to dig through, you're quite
I'm already
savant with a pickaxe. As if I remember, you rescuing Vanya earlier today. But yeah, I think you're also all a bit beat. I mean, a couple near-death experiences for us all. So let's see
it
if
makes sense to reestablish communication with others and see if the situation has changed.
So Fendir will go over to I didn't put an extra door in the room like I meant to. Well, there's another door in the room. Now there's another door in the room. That's near the water closet.
Weirdly enough, we all go in the bathroom. And
and it is just sort of, it looks at first
toilet.
It looks at first, this closet at first glance looks to be just like another storage room, like the shelves lining the walls of the main room.
Hearing PTSD from when first session when we were in the closet with the alive carpet.
There was no furniture in this room.
Oh, thank God. We're alive. We're gonna win.
Just two large dusty crates, and they're both empty as Fendir kicks one to the side, and you see a runic, 5 foot across runic circle inscribed on the ground. Fendir offers a hand to each of you for their own before waits for you to take their hands.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to make sure you hold their hands, and they will lead you onto the runic circle. And for a moment, nothing happened, and you're already dreading the having to re-experience the rivers of blood and decimated bodies that you made your way through here. But after a moment, you feel a warm rush of air, and then for the first time in a good number of days, the last fading rays of sunlight as you are once again above ground, and the sun appears to be in the setting. It's probably about 8 o'clock because it's midsummer, so probably like 7:30, 8 p.m. As you feel the sunlight for the first time, as it had been raining for so long that it's a very welcome warm.
Not to mention, we were underground for a while there.
Yes, yeah, it was underground, raining. Before that, on a boat before that, it's first time being on dry, warm, sunny land in a few days. You all are.
I have never seen a more beautiful sunset.
Well, cheers to that. And you all are you're sort of in the same foothills that you found the initial entrance to, but you're not near that entrance, but you're close enough that you sort of see that there seems to be like supplies gathered outside of there, from where everyone else had left, and you can see the town down below the foothills, skirting then sort of in. Which, given that it's sort of relatively late, it seems to be bustling. Even from this distance, you see that large like tents have been erected in places. You see a lot of people still moving. A lot of like crates and supplies and boxes are being sort of still moved. It looks like there's a lot of temporary structures that have been put in place since you that maybe had been in the beginnings of being erected when you had left, but are now like more fully erected, which is such a worse word to use, but and you all can make your way down back to the village if you'd so like.
Yeah. We have some sad news to deliver to a lot of families.
Yeah, you do. And so as you make your way back to the city of the town of Cozy, it's not really a city. The first thing you notice is on the outskirts of town is a large white tent, like the kind you've seen very rarely for a wedding or other festival. One of the largest you've seen, in fact. And as you approach, you think maybe it could be housing. It could be a med tent, and then look closer, realize that it is not bodies but corpses.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. For some reason, as soon as you said wedding, I was like, oh, it's full of dead people.
So that's on the outskirts of town. It's from this point it is a lot of just tarps and sheets with uneven shapes underneath it. You don't necessarily see a lot of the bodies themselves because they are being treated with disrespect. You also see closer to town. You do see a number of other tents and things. You see healers and medical workers running back and forth between houses on the outskirts of town, where seems that the small doctor's office has been overrun, and so they are sort of using the closest buildings they can. There is a number of children sort of sitting around at the front of the schoolhouse, not really having anywhere else to go, and a couple of older children sort of keeping watch over them, and sort of putting out bedrolls and things in the schoolhouse and on the porch. You see another large tent that is based outside of the tavern that you stayed in the night before, where where like a dozen or so large stew pots are sitting and feeding people who are just sort of sitting around, no longer needing the tents because it's no longer raining, but sitting around sort of on the ground, on outcroppings of rock, in houses, on porches. Many people don't have anywhere to go. As you approach sort of the main part of town, you do sort of see the town hall where you'd initially gotten some information from. You had met the assistant there, I believe. And there are a group of people, once again, sort of crowding around a central table, sort of discussing and making plans. This time there is looks to be building schematics and blueprints spread out. And there are also a bigger number of carriages, horses, and things stabled around the town in places that maybe a horse wouldn't necessarily usually be stabled in. Also a lot of mules because they're better suited for dwarves to ride than actual horses.
And possibly better for the terrain, I would think.
Possibly better for the terrain as well. There you go.
I got you.
And and that is sort of what you see. What or who are you seeking out as you arrive back to town? What are you looking to do, or who are you looking for?
I mean, there are 59 families we have to talk to, but
I feel like we could just go tell the person in charge whose name I forget.
Jade. Well, so there's Brock and Jade, we know.
I was thinking like the person we first talked to before we went down into the parent.
Ironbrow is is the proprietor of the Ironbrow mine. But he had a
broken arm,
and his arm was in a sling when you met him yesterday, so he hadn't been in the mine for that reason. But yeah, if you want to look for him, he would be. You can make a check for me. Perception.
All right. Oh, I'm good at those.
Can it be survival?
No, because you're looking for a person, and that requires your eyesight.
Fair enough. I mean, it's the same rolls. It does not matter. I just thought it'd be fun to roll. Oh, yikes. Vanya, honey.
Vanya,
you need a nap real bad.
Vanya, but what is Vanya distracted by as he's watching this settlement and town come together in wake of this tragedy and trying to put together all these things? What is Vanya most distracted by as you come upon the town?
I have an answer, and it's funny.
Good.
I think, because as we know, Vanya has very rarely in his entire life interacted with children. And so he, sees the kids, and he's curious. He's, looking at because he's seen plenty of adults in his time, and he's probably seen adults react to various tragedies and whatever before, but he's intellectually curious about how are the children responding to what's going on,
May, I would like you to
he
roll
just doesn't know any kids.
An insight check for me, and I want you to roll I'll let you choose. You roll with an advantage or disadvantage. But the choice is based on how much self-introspection is Vanya do you think Vanya does as a general rule? Because it's insight into himself.
I think he's done, before meeting Theron and the group, he did not tons, because that made him uncomfortable conceptually. But I feel like he's done a lot since making friends that are his peers. So
okay, great. Yeah.
And we just had big emotions time with Fendir recently. Okay. So
Vanya looks at a group of children who have just become orphans in the midst of a makeshift orphanage. And that is where his attention is drawn more than anything else in this moment. What is I think that speaks for itself. Honestly, on Vanya's case? May, do you have anything else you want to say about Vanya's state in this moment, what Vanya's thinking or feeling?
I think thinking about that, Vanya would be, hang on. Let's see. Let's make sure I know what I'm doing and talking about. Oh, I know what to do. I think Vanya would look for a kid who looks maybe about 4. And go over and like get down on their level because he is really tall and that's a little scary. And I think, and at this point, like Vanya has completely like wandered off from the group. Like they're looking for Brock, he has wandered off. And I think he gets down on this kid's level, and if they're receptive, I think he's gonna take out his childhood abacus that he's been carrying with him since we cleaned out his room at the order, and I think he's gonna teach this kid how to use it and give it to them.
What's this for?
It's for counting. And Vanya will take some like little pebbles from the dirt and show how to use the beads on the abacus to count them.
I already know how to count. 1, 2. What's up? 3. 5.
What do you plan to do when you run out of fingers?
Numbers don't go that high.
I have excellent news. Numbers go very, very high.
Really? How high
Yes.
do they go?
At least 59.
Well, the very fun part is we don't know yet.
Oh.
They're still finding all the numbers.
You know who would
There are so
know?
many numbers that we don't have names for them yet.
My dad
Who?
would know. He knows everything.
No.
I bet. My uncle knows everything.
Yeah. Anna wants to hug
And-
all of these people.
I know. I'm like,
Kieran
oh
wouldn't.
God.
In math and science, if you are the person who discovers something new, you get to name it. So, like I told you, there are numbers so high that we haven't made names for them yet. If you find one of those numbers first, then you would get to give it a name.
I'm definitely going to find one. I'm going to find one before you even do. Can I find it on here?
This.
And it's just sort of like moving the beads, just
Yeah.
like the way a kid does, not really counting, just sort of like there is sort of
Right.
that soothing feeling of just like the clacking of the beads against each other, and just the sensation of sliding it smoothly along the pole.
This will help you keep track of the numbers while you're looking for new ones, because think of this row here as similar to counting on your fingers. And then every time that this row fills up, if you want to keep counting, you take one bead from the next row and you move it, and that means you've filled the first row once.
That is easier than using my toes.
Yes. So we use a system to count that's known as base 10, and that's actually because we have 10 fingers. And that's what feels natural.
Yes, and then runs away, and then just runs away. He's like, you see, you're saying base 10, you're like, the kid's like, that's too much. I'm going to go find a new number now. Bye.
Yeah. And then Vanya will stand up and brush the dust off his clothes and like look around like, oh, Huh. I used to be standing with people. Where'd they go?
And did you see what Vanya ran off to?
Fendir will just hook a thumb in the direction of Vanya.
Vanya!
Vanya,
Yes?
you hear your name called as your friends are sort of meeting sort of in the center. And you see, where is she? You see Brock Ironbrow is with the you don't see him, but you can ask somebody quickly in passing, and they'll direct you that he's in the sort of town hall around the table with the engineers discussing looking at the blueprints and things. As you approach, you see around this table as you approach, you see the schematics. Vanya, you immediately intuit that it is the shaft mechanism of the mine that would have collapsed. Fearon, you could tell that it's a big machine device that you could sort of know it's related to mining. I don't know, Fearon, you maybe wouldn't know necessarily what exactly it is, but you know it's something to do with the collapse. You see that for the most part, it's mostly like clean, well-rested folks who've clearly come in from town, who look harried and they look stressed, but they are not people who are in the collapse, discussing along with Brock. And then you do see a couple of folks who are covered in sort of soot, dirt, things that are sort of that are sort of also in the mix, that you would assume are folks who have escaped themselves. On seeing your distinct party cross through the threshold,
the tallest
Brock,
men in town.
The tallest men and women in town. There are couple humans here and other races or species, but yeah, mostly dwarves. Brock looks up and says, "Oh, you're back. You sent so many folks back to us. I really appreciate the help. Come in. We're just trying to figure just what happened. We got folks out shoring up the entrances. We dug out one, and we've gotten quite a few people back. The folks that you sent out to us. They said that you found them, as well as a couple other folks in other chambers. So we're really have most everyone accounted for at this point. So Jade mentioned that.
But can we say that before we went into town,
yes,
like around people we sidebarred? Because we definitely don't want to tell them about the mithril, right? But we also, they're probably going to ask how all the dwarves died.
I mean, we can mention the creature we killed.
Which
because
the big guy we didn't kill. The one that tried to kidnap Fendir we didn't kill. No, we did. Sorry, we did.
Yeah. Did, yes. And there's also the spiders. The spiders were also there,
right?
With that.
So we can mention the big chomping shadow creature and the spiders, I think, because that's relevant and
true.
Also, the fact that we've killed it makes it feel like there's closure to the situation, which is nice.
All right, resume. What were we doing?
Yes. let's see, math. Okay. Um, we have accounted for almost everyone. Jade had mentioned when she came out that you went in looking for Elgor and the other missing folk who you didn't see. So those are sort of those are folks that we still don't have information about.
Well, Elgor was on a different floor, right?
Yes. Because Elgor was like her brother, right? Jade's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like the leader on a different floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't find him then?
No. We didn't find a way to get down the next floor. We did we found the remains of the 59 scouts that had been sent. They had all been back. It was gruesome. There was some sort of monster creature thing that had been living in the mines that had... I'm so sorry.
Right. Liat, and we'll call over his the young dwarven woman who was his you remember to be his assistant. Could you add 59 more to the death toll, please, and start assigning folk to go out and collect the remains, and then we'll ask quickly for sort of where in the mine, and you guys can, and we'll pull out a map. And you guys
Vanya has that information.
Yeah.
Farron warns them that it's gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
When Fear warns that again, don't let anyone go in until I'm able to go with them, so I can sort of I can help. I can maybe can't lift the bodies, but I can help prepare my men, my folks.
Fendir knows Liat though, right?
Fendir is sort of familiar with a lot of the folks in town so far.
So yeah. So he definitely was not one of the people.
Yeah.
So he's still MIA.
Yeah, Elgor.
Elgor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Jade said he was probably on level 1, 2, or 3, and we were on 4, and we couldn't find a way to get through to the others.
Right. Jade, not Jade, Brock, or rather, they will say, yes, sir. That does bring us to, oh, I didn't do the math. Oh no, wait. That brings us to pause.
You good? Math hard.
well, that would do it. Okay. Sorry, making sure that I used the right number, and I
Okay.
accidentally did the math incorrectly.
That's all right. Been there many times.
Math is hard.
It is.
Whatever. Okay, sir, Leah will say, right, all right, look, 59 moved from missing to dead. That means we so far have she'll turn to you guys, to you, from the folks that you all rescued. That brings us to 902 people returned alive, and 148 were dead, and 59 were missing, and now they are also dead. But
That's 207 now confirmed dead.
well, no. So there are right now 490 confirmed dead, and
Oh, you were saying, I get it now. I'm there. Yeah. You were
I just-
saying from the ones that we sent, it was 148. Got it. Yes.
yes. So some of the folks who came to town to help do have stone sensing powers, and were sort of able to determine who was under some of the collapsed chambers. So there's a couple of groups of people who were up on higher levels and managed to come out. A whole 150 some people came up from level 1 and just sort of were able to get out right away. That was within like an hour or two of you all going down. Another group of folks on level 2 were able to get an entrance to level 1 board out, and then within a couple hours after that, while you guys were down there, so another 82 people were saved there. There's some folks on level 3 that also managed to find a little pocket. There were 8. There are some folks that are trapped in the rubble that we were able to get to. 18 folks so far were found there. And we found there are a couple groups of folks that are still trapped. I haven't been able to mine them out yet, but they're not out of air, they're not out of supplies out on level 2. And then another group on level 2 found a different entrance to a different ancient mine path, and they got out, and so they were able to tell us about that. So we actually have a much more complete map of the mines, ancient mines now. There were 342 deaths, in addition to the ones that you had already know about.
Is that in addition to the 490?
No, that is including. This is what my
Okay.
math is confusing because I wrote out the numbers like 8 different ways, and I didn't necessarily add them all up to. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
there were some folks who died without the proper ventilation on level 3. More folks who didn't luck out, like the groups in level 2 with the buried without the proper tools and air. And then there were a couple places that are the folks we sent in, or the pay sense, just really strangely, some body parts and not the full corpses, so we're not quite sure what happened there, but
That's kind of how the 59 we found. They were kind of scattered and torn up. Them. And when your
right.
whoever goes down to check, we did kind of organize some of it to help count better. So like that it was awful.
There's a 4-year-old with an abacus somewhere if you need help.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Jelania didn't say that. That was fully
Okay.
Right. Right. So, well, to Brock, to say so. Right. So, when we get to the point where we are digging those tunnels back out, we'll also put the strong stomachs on that excavation too. Then, and you see that she's on the verge of tears because this is not a job that she, as assistant to this man, this businessman, would have ever thought she would have been doing, which was counting death tolls.
Yeah, stuff's rough. Sometimes you get a promotion you don't want.
Let me just really quickly double check my math to make sure I get everything accounted for. I think I accidentally added dead people at some point.
Hey, great if there's less of them. Always happy to hear that.
So in total, everybody who was supposed to be in the mines, summary is they're out. There are 1,749 people who were on shift at the time of the quake. You found 902 folks alive when you rescued folks. You also found 3 others, so that's 905 that you personally accounted for the safety of within that. And then...
How many did we return alive, did you say?
You personally ensured the safety of 905 people.
905?
Yes, because there's 902 in the den, and there's 3 that you on the way. Torek, Thor, and girl whose name I didn't write down. Patriarchy.
Sorry, I thought you said 905, and I was like, oh no, 3 people died of their injuries?
No. I didn't account for those, that kind of thing. So far, right, as of the time of this, they are still all alive.
Yay.
Actually, just kidding. My next note does say 2 succumbed to injuries and died.
No!
No, but in total, because the number that you rolled at various points through mechanics was 490 deaths. Everyone else of the 1749, you believe would be alive, except for Elgor Ironbrow, who is not accounted for. Still,
is he the
He's
only one
literally
not
the
accounted?
one person?
He's the one person.
Okay, well, we're gonna need to check that out.
You see Brock's heart.
What was his name? Can you spell that again?
Elgor.
And then just iron brow, like the word
Ironbrow. Yes, because they have very thick, bushy, dark eyebrows.
My immediate thought is like, what if Elgor was in on it? What if he was like, what's their fuck?
Ashen?
Yeah, like my buddy, whose name and I can't remember.
Vesper?
But thank you. I'm so bad with names, okay? What if they're like Vesper and they were in on it? Because we did theorize that it was the gray, or the ashen, thank you, that were doing this.
But Fendir trusts Elgor. They called him Aggie.
I trusted Vesper too at one point.
I know. I am fighting against this for the sole purpose that it would make me sad.
As you all, so as Leon sort of gives her accounting and then returns to the work she was doing before, Brock sort of gestures you both over to this conversation grouped around this these schematics, as these skilled engineers are arguing about what possibly could have happened, because for all intents and purposes, the mine shaft should have been earthquake proof. And that's when you sort of start listening, as the one of the engineers turns to one of the people there, covered in dirt, who had clearly come from who had been rescued in some capacity. And says, just tell us again what you saw, because it doesn't make any sense. There's no world in which the shaft should have collapsed. We had safety nets. We had fail-safes. We had levels on levels of fail-safe. You don't build a mine of this scope and scale if you think an earthquake could be a problem. And the person covered in dirt, I don't know what you want me to tell you. When we went through the passage where the den to where everyone had to come, and we knew there was a safe passage, we went to start looking. From what we could see of the mechanism, it was sheared clean off the bottom, like it never existed, like it all collapsed inward. I don't know what could have done something like that. There's the
mechanism being like the lift, or
like the elevator lift, but it's like a big. This is where the magic comes in. It's just a big device, elevator thing.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to me.
The capital M mechanism.
The mechanism, yeah. And clear show. And then the other person who's covered in dirt, who you now realize is in fact Jade Ironbrow herself.
Hey, girlie.
Who did not look like this when you last saw her, but can surmise that she probably went back in and started helping immediately as soon as her people were out. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything like it. It was like it was buried, but there was no hole beneath it. Like it fell in a hole, but there was no hole to fall into.
What?
We've seen holes appear and disappear mysteriously before.
Have we? Is that what Vesper did?
When we met.
When we met.
Oh, in the library.
Oh,
It was gone later.
That's
just
right.
Completely gone.
And so the mechanism had been cut, and then like the bottom portion disappeared. That's what they were saying, right?
Yes, and so the way that it worked is that basically the support that it was, like the bottom part of it, disappeared in whatever way, And that meant that for all the fail safes, they could have never imagined that this, like the bottom 5 to 10 meters of it would just no longer exist. And so everything collapsed inward, which along with the earthquake caused all this damage throughout the mine. But that main shaft being the main transport mechanism to the top, from the top.
Could this be like how they were, Bendir mentioned they've been having troubles with like monsters coming through portals, I think, from other planes of existence. Could this potentially be like someone temporarily open the portal to a different plane? And by someone, I do mean Elgor. He is suspect number 1 on my list.
I'm thinking about the moral best case, which is Elgor also fell in a hole that's not there anymore.
Okay, bestie, you could think that. Someone's got to be positive here.
I know. When we fell in the hole, that didn't open into another dimension or anything. That opened into tunnels that were already there. Which only confuses me more because we still don't know who caused the hole to appear and disappear in Prisma.
What if it wasn't a hole, but like a portal? And like in a way that it didn't. I mean, like,
all holes are kind of portals.
Well, I mean, like if you think about it, if we had no idea it was a portal, like I'm thinking like the game Portal, how you have like blue and orange portal, and if you didn't have like the obvious like rings around those portals to know like which portal was which, it could potentially just look like a hole in the floor.
Right, because I guess like we know that the tunnels that we found ourselves in run under the entire city. Oh, hang on, Anna, not DM. Good Lord. We know, having gone between the Order of the Aperture location and LeBlanc's place above ground, we know kind of the distance between those things. So I know it was a little like twisty-turny underground, but did that feel like roughly the correct distance? Okay. Because that was my question, was like,
you guys also,
those tunnels go under the entire city. You're right that it's possible we were dropped into tunnels somewhere else, but yeah.
And you guys also were in the tunnels underground when you went to the ritual. That's how you traveled to the ritual chamber.
That's how we
and where Vesper was being held as well.
Right.
Just for
my thing is,
sake.
It doesn't seem like necessarily the Ashen were behind that whole situation, especially because that caused Pippa to not end up doing the job that the Ashen wanted her to do, except they didn't because they never came to collect it. So that's a little confusing. But it seems like creating that hole would have interfered with whatever they were hoping Pippa would do. So this hole seems similar to that hole, but that only helps us so much as information because we don't know what the deal was with that hole.
I mean, it could still potentially be my portal idea, but they just, it's not a different location completely.
Right, just floor and ceiling.
Weird holes. Okay.
I'll also note, just because I'm pretty sure I said this at the time, this was also like 2 years ago maybe at this point, the hole in the floor at the Aperture was like a hole in like the wood floor. Like you could see like the
Right.
like it wasn't like
Yeah.
a smooth circle. Just so you guys know that it like as far as you were aware and could perceive with your senses, it was like baseboards missing type or floorboards missing type
Okay.
of thing.
So if it is the same sort of hole, which seems to be like a small chunk of the layer was taken out and then just put back in magically, mending, whatever, wouldn't that mean the 5 to 10 meters of mechanism would just be under a little like slab of stone or whatever is at the bottom of? Like,
we could dig and see if it's just covered up and under there in like a pit.
Are you guys talking about this out loud in this room?
I think so. I think Vanya got as excited as I did, but in a more Vanya way of speaking was like, oh,
I feel
I know
like we
holes
would
like
at
this.
least try to keep it like hushed to
Right.
ourselves
We're sidebarring
because
we haven't
we
entered
are-
that conversation at all. So
we're talking about things that aren't known to the public yet. Like
Yeah,
a
so I
terrorist
think
organization, potentially.
right. So I think we were hearing about that and sidebarred about our knowledge of a different hole.
That's what she said.
Yeah. If Thess were here, she has knowledge of many holes.
I'm not used to the sound of rain on a air conditioning
Yeah.
unit, and it keeps scaring me every time.
Valid.
You all, so you're talking about this in the room, but maybe not as part of this main conversation, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Who was Pippa hired by? I remember talking about it, and I'm pretty
we
sure I
think
have
the
it in my
Ashen.
note.
Because she said they spoke with like multiple voices out of one body, kind of like a Vesper situation, but they were a cloaked figure. So we assume it was the Ashen. They never came to collect. And so I have now sent a letter to Pippa like, hey girl, what did you do with the thing you stole? Because we never talked about that. I don't know why I mimed texting in front of me as I described writing this letter in a world where nobody texts.
As you guys are sort of like speaking with hushed shows, and Fendi are sort of just listening because they weren't with you at the sort of earlier part of this journey. They're like, you're gonna have to tell me about this hole you fell into at some point. Sounds pretty foundational to your friendship.
It did appear to go through the foundations of the building, yes.
I thought you meant the literal foundation.
So did Vanya.
I do just want to note that it seemed like they meant that the mechanism itself was sure that the dwarves who have sort of this sense of being able to feel through stones,
Right.
like a not quite a tremor sense, but
But they would.
some who are trained in sort of vibrational earth understandings. The rest of the mechanism is gone. It's not underneath. It's not understanding of it. So I don't think it's a hole through a floor. I think that would be, because the base that these things are on, you can't really dig underneath them.
Right.
That's the whole point, because they're sort of the foundation. So, not trying to, not shooting anything down. Just want to be clear that it seems like that just.
Yes, that's important context.
No, that's a good point.
To know that we have knowledge that there's not a cavity underneath.
Sandia, I have heard tale of a spell called Locate Creature. And I'm pretty sure it's a cleric spell.
The things we do to try not to metagame in our lives.
I doubt you have it prepared this today, but
would have been mighty useful in a mine where we're trying to go find and rescue people, so I probably should have, but
Well,
let's
be fair, we were looking for lots of people, not just one. But now we're looking for just the one.
the
literal one unaccounted for person.
I can see if the prism will grant it to me tomorrow after a good night's sleep.
I'm sorry, the prism chooses what spells you prepare?
Oh, no, not directly. It's not like sentient. It's just sort of the thing of I pray to it, and as I'm thinking about my spells for the day and sort of
okay.
Farron, I know the sort of faith thing is a struggle for you, but it's a little bit rude to be so dismissive of my faith.
I didn't
like,
mean it
hardship
in a rude way. I was genuinely curious, if that's how. I'm sorry.
Vanya's quietly proud of himself for not having been the head skeptic for once.
I'll accept your apology. You don't have to intend to be rude to be rude.
Damn.
So
can I take 1 point of psychic damage? No, I'm kidding. I didn't mean to be mean to my friend.
Oh, I know. I just it's I know you didn't mean it. It's a great comfort in hard times for me and a lot of people. So, we're in a middle of a hard time right now, one of the hardest, I think. But I can commune tomorrow and see if that's something that I can do, because I would like to find him myself. And then Fendir will turn to Jade. Jade, remind us what you said about where Elgor was when we saw you earlier.
On levels 1, 2, or 3.
Which people have already been to.
Somewhat.
And Jade will confirm we have confirmed there's still some pockets of people on underground there, but none of them are Elgor from the since I would have known if it was him myself. So perhaps you could go talk to Grant. Grant was Elgor's friend, and I think he's over in one of the med tents. His legs are sort of pudding, but he's doing better than he was. Perhaps he might be able to help point you out where to look. If you're able to find him, I would be in your debt. We both would be, and consider father. And Brock nods his agreement and then looks to Fendir as well. It says, you're friends with the Zan, right? Because he's supposed to come first thing in the morning on a ship with some supplies for us from his dad. So if you're able to help sort of meet him, that would be a great help as we're sort of dealing with all these things. And Fendir Of course, I'm happy to. It'd be great to see Zan. I'll meet you here at first light, and sort of agrees and makes the plans to go meet this Zan figure in the.
Have we heard of Zayan before?
You have. When Fendir told a story about their
Cousin?
best friend who once tried to cop a feel their boobs, and then they beat him up for it. I think that's a story. If not, that's
not
a random
cousin
story.
then.
I was thinking the name sounded familiar.
Yeah.
But
I was just going through the stories Fender's told us, and like, is it that one?
But yeah, so Jade advises you could go talk to Brant if you would like. And you know that Zan is on his way. What would you like to do?
We could go talk to old Puddin' Legs. That's not Vanya. I need to be specific. Listen, I just thought that was that
was really funny.
A, gross, but B, really, like, I immediately knew exactly what you meant. And I think that's a great description.
Perfect description.
Let's go talk to Brant, I think, before we go to bed.
Great. You'll wave. You depart this group, still discussing this mechanism and making plans to sort of rebuild it from underneath, which seems to be very difficult. But they have they're starting to work on a timeline, which at least is good. And you'll make your way over to the med tents, which is sort of not so much a singular tent, but a sort of group of houses all sort of together with a few tents outside. As you sort of approach, you see harried-looking doctors and healers alike, sort of scurrying around in between people. Though some of the urgency is gone now that it's been, a good number of hours since the initial rescues were made. The most dire wounds have either been succumbed to or, things. So you get pointed towards Brant, who's in back of a quiet house that is, as you walk through the door, splattered with dried blood still. And as you push dwarven man in a bed who's filthy, still covered in rubble, though his face has been sort of hastily wiped clear. And you see that where the blankets covering his body sort of abruptly fall below where his mid-thigh would be, as his pudding legs have become cupcakes. And he is, his eyes are closed as you walk in, but as he hears footsteps, sort of...
I think. I was like, is he breathing? Okay.
Sort of, Garley's like, Fiona, are you bringing someone more of that soup? Soup? And sort of opens the eyes again when no one's bringing him soup. And then looks at you all and, you're not Fiona, and you don't have soup. But who are you? I don't know you or you. You look familiar. Do I know you? Do I know you? You look like I know you, but I don't know you. What are you doing here?
Can I get some of the soup he's been having? I'm sorry, that's also really mean. Insensitive.
I mean, it's okay to want drugs.
So, hey, listen, it sounds like a great soup.
We were wondering if we could talk to you about Elgor.
Yeah, where is he? Why isn't he at my bedside? He's supposed to.
We're looking for him.
He's
not here.
yeah. Do you
Yes, could you
remember?
tell us about the last time you saw him?
Yeah.
Oh, um, oh, things are fuzzy.
Yes.
Is Fiona coming back soon?
It seems likely.
Okay, because that was pretty good tasting, and I haven't eaten since yesterday. Elgor. Yeah, I saw him.
Was
Where?
he? Yeah. Where did you see him? Was he?
He left.
Oh, where did he head off to?
Mm, Where? It was dark.
I bet it's. Is the mine down there normally? What floor were you?
Oh, I don't. I don't. I was leaving end of my shift. So, well, no, it was before I was thinking about leaving because Fiona was gonna make soup for dinner.
Do we know a
And
Fiona? Is Fiona the proprietor of the bar? Oh, hell yeah. Look at me remembering things sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah, have you had Fiona's soup?
I know we had breakfast.
You could have had a meal there. You could have had the soup for dinner the night before if you'd like. You've had Fiona's cooking in general.
We've definitely had a cooking. It was good.
She's so pretty.
Oh, yeah.
And she makes good soup. And Alcor. It was dark, and what did you ask me? Why are you?
When Elgor left, you said it was dark. Did your legs hurt when Elgor left?
No, after
Okay.
legs. I don't.
Um, uh, maybe this question is more towards Fendir. Are the lower levels of the mines normally kept in complete darkness? I know dwarves have dark vision, so it's not really necessary to keep it lit up.
But it's pretty inconvenient to be trying to mine stuff in the dark, so everything's pretty usually well lit. Torches and there's torches. You guys saw torches like throughout the.
Yeah.
They weren't lit when you guys were in there because of circumstances, but you saw like sconces and things.
Love a good sconce.
Do you know there's like one of the levels that would have been kept dark? Or would be dark?
No, it wasn't supposed to be dark. It got dark.
Before the earthquake?
Is that what happened?
There was an earthquake. Was it dark before the earthquake?
Yeah, and that's why Elgor left.
Because
to figure out why it was dark?
He had to go check on the canaries.
That
Right.
makes sense. If something goes wrong, like the lights going out, you would want to go check on that.
Where?
Right, because
Oh, the canaries kept. Well, you.
there are no canaries. It's a mine. It's no place for a bird. It's what we call. Where's my soup? I don't like talking to you for making me think of
That
bad
seems
things.
valid.
You don't know stuff, and it's so.
I'm not
I
fond of it
know.
either. I'm used to myself
There-
knowing things.
His face is all scrunched up. Like he's trying really hard to think, but it's clearly like
Yeah,
through layers of this fog.
Man's- on drugs and trauma.
And drugs and trauma. Yeah.
My favorites. Girl dinner, drugs and trauma.
Things.
Would it be a bad idea to let him hold the storyteller's stein to see if that can give us any hints as to what was happening that he may not really recall as he speaks, but like his subconscious would know, if that makes sense.
Cute. I like this.
But also, I don't want to like traumatize him more.
And I bet we could find somebody else who could tell us what the canaries are.
Does Fendir know what the canaries are?
Oh, it's just a sort of every mine has a different way of doing it, but it's just the thing you use to make sure the air is still breathable. So we used to use canaries because but
Right.
Someone said that's sort of inhumane to use living creatures to make sure that other living creatures are, and so they're. So it's something to make. It seems like my guess would be that Elgor went to go see why the lights went out, and if the lights went out because the air is no longer safe to breathe, to sort of immediately evacuate sort of situation usually. So,
But where were the canaries kept? Like, was it by where the mechanism would be? This is a leading question. Our
No,
lawyer
really?
friend would know better.
I'm not a lawyer yet.
Our
But yeah, that's a leading question.
law student.
yeah, they're. You gotta know that the canaries are safe before you go into the mines. So you go and you check in the place where you come down.
Okay.
So
I mean, so it was lights went off, then earthquake.
Yeah, the timeline is
Okay.
lights go off, Elgor leaves to go check on that situation, then earthquake. And at some point, while the lights are off, seemingly, the entire mechanism is sheared off of the bottom of the shaft into a hole that's no longer there, because the fact that the mechanism was gone is what allowed the shaft to collapse entirely during the earthquake, from what we've heard.
that is a good summary of what you've surmised so far.
Okay.
I'm so good at surmising.
So
But it's
What kind
possible
of-
that
what kind of lights? Is it like all firelight that could be snuffed out with prestidigitation or something?
Yeah, it was fire, because fire is also in itself is just a good oxygenation measure. So when you're further from the like bigger tools,
Okay.
but yeah, and you saw flame torches unlit throughout the mine.
It could be that Elgor wasn't the one responsible and was victim of whoever is responsible. I shouldn't. I don't know. It feels like
I believe either way, it's true that seeking answers about where Elgor is and seeking answers about what happened to the shaft mechanism and the lights are all questions leading to the same place, no matter what involvement Elgor had with it.
Is Elgor bringing my soup?
I believe it sounded like Fiona might bring your soup.
Fiona! She's so pretty.
yes, she is.
She's so pretty. Oh. Can you go get her for me? Is she coming?
I presume she is going to be making her rounds at some point.
Okay. Can I sleep now, please? I'm not
Probably.
asking. I'm going to sleep now. You can leave.
Okay, thank you.
Tell Elgor I'm going to beat him up for not visiting my bedside. I got my
Yeah, we will.
legs chopped off and he's not even here to give me a leg.
I don't believe leg donations are terribly common.
I just want some soup.
We'll get you some soup.
Good evening.
Soup, 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 soup. And he does a sort of me, honk, shoo, shoo. He does a honk, shoo, me, but it's all soup. It's all honk, soup.
That's so cute. I love it.
Can I think as we head out, Firen would find like whoever is like kind of caring to these people. I would
Whoever's in charge of the soup.
whoever's in charge of giving out soup. He really wants some soup, some good soup.
Oh yeah, Brant's been drinking a lot of soup. Thanks. We'll get him some more soup.
He needs to go to the soup store.
I'm at soup.
The superstore.
Why are you buying clothes? So
yeah.
now we go to Z.
Zan? Well, I think they said Zan won't be here till morning.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we go to bed.
A nap? A big nap?
I think a whole sleep.
Not even a nap, a full sleep.
A big
sleep.
nap! Big sleep!
You guys can return to the tavern you spent the night before, and you are you encounter, in fact, Fiona, the blonde-haired proprietor of this institution, who is in the what is set up as a soup kitchen right now, helping dole out food to folks who are sort of out. She sees you approach and says, "Oh, our heroes. Right. So we did put up a bunch of sick and injured folks in the tavern. But you're welcome to pitch a tent in the yard.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, can't offer you anything better, but sort of all hands on deck right now, as you can see."
Yes, that seems
like,
logistically
I have
to be the best plan.
Question, Fiona. Do you know Brant? Whatever his last name is. I don't think we got a last, but
I'll put in legs. Just kidding.
It's spreading.
What if his nickname was Pudding? That'd be so sad.
Already?
Oh, that is really cute. It's a right shame what happened to him. I had stopped by a little bit earlier to check in. He's one of my regulars at the tavern. Real nice tipper. Real shame.
I'm sure.
Do you know what floor he was supposed to be working when the earthquake happened? A little loopy and didn't quite state us which one it was.
I'm sorry. I don't really
You don't
get
know?
involved much in mine matters. I sort of, don't work there, so
Yeah, that's fine.
mostly just feed
Roll does the soup.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if, like, you had heard him talking or something while he was here eating.
I think he sort of worked wherever under Al Gore directly. So whatever Al Gore was sort of doing in a given day, he was also sort of probably doing. They sort of had squads and things. I don't think anyone had sort of and Fendir would chime in and be like, yeah, no one really ever. You get assigned different spaces based on different shifts, or sometimes different minds rotate, just so that keep morale a little higher. Since it can be a bit dreary to do the same thing day for day, but you want to balance that with the expertise of sort of knowing how to mine in a different area, knowing the weak spots, knowing the things like that. So, yeah. So it sounds like he was sort of near the mechanism, near the shaft, but that's not saying much since there's a big thing.
Right, and I presume there would be canaries on each floor because the air conditions on different floors might be separate.
Different densities of what's the
right.
the stuff. Gases, we don't learn much. We don't learn much about it, but we learn the basics of canaries and different, tools from. But I'll see if I can. In the morning, we can meet up with Zan and Brock, and I can see if I can locate Al Gore with some magic. But
I think Farron would tip Fiona like just 20 gold, because I looked in my inventory and I have 987 and I don't remember having that much gold.
I think LeBlanc has been kind to us.
I think she has too. And
she's a rich lady.
Yeah.
There is like if there's anything you guys want to like stock up on, there is I guess we'll talk about it. It's everything's open now because everyone's still like looking for supplies and everyone's sort of open. But there is like a sort of like general goods store for general stuff in town. There is like an apothecary potion shop, though their supplies you would imagine would be pretty limited at this point because everyone is using everything they got. But yeah. But if there's anything you guys want to shop or like basic supplies you guys would want, you guys can acquire stuff pretty easily here.
I would assume the potion shop wouldn't have any healing potions, but it would be kind of neat to see what other potions they have. But you don't have to bring that up right now.
Great. Great, because I will I'll make a roll. I'll roll on a table for you to tell you what all their healing potions would be anything useful in healing or recovery would be gone, but like other things might be there that would be sort of generally useful or just like intriguing. But yeah, I think you guys go and probably pitch a tent or set up your bedrolls. It looks like the skies are clear and there's not going to be rain again tonight. So if you want to sleep under the stars, you can do that as well.
I think Vanya will do a quick little moment of shopping on his own. He'll go into a shop or somewhere, and he will ask the person working there if they can recommend, if you were going to buy a toy for a child, what toy would they recommend?
Oh, you can't go wrong with this, with a cute little plush. Got some of those in stock. Blocks. We don't have much because most people are making their own toys. But yeah, there's like 2 stuffed animals, and like a set of blocks that is like really nicely painted. That is like very highly priced. It's maybe like, and maybe like a boat or like a toy pickaxe.
I think Vanya will buy a stuffed animal.
Great. That'll be like a gold.
Awesome.
It's less than a gold, but for simplicity's sake, it's a gold.
Right. Yeah, Vanya will tip. He's
Great.
a gentleman. And then that's not right. Hang on. Okay, I can count. And then he will go back to where kind of the orphaned kids are, and he'll give the stuffed animal to one of the little ones, and then go back to the tent with everybody.
That's very sweet. Vanya, as Vanya walks away, he does hear fighting erupt behind him as kids fight over the cute stuffed animal.
There's only so much you can do.
No one can, yeah. You know.
Would it be like bad to, I was thinking maybe Firin, she has a pan flute, maybe she could play a little song on her pan flute to help like raise spirits or at least distract from the depression of everything. But also I don't know if it's too soon.
No, there's like a big bonfire in the center of town that people are sort of like gathered around, because there are people who had just lost their homes because they were just happened to be in the path of where the earthquake and the rock slides and things were, and they don't yet have like fully erected homes. So they're like going back to their like little tent they have set up is kind of depressing. It's warmer by the fire, so there are folks sort of seated on like logs and rocks around. Some of the folks who are injured but not as injured, like they maybe just have the sling around their arm, or cut on their head, but it's patched up, are out, and they're talking quietly among themselves. But once you start playing the pan flute, people are sort of like, and then for a while, somebody else pulls out a fiddle and joins in, and there starts to be a little bit more of a liveliness. As sort of things start to, different folks go back into homes and pull out the instruments that can be transported, and folks start singing like Redonian, folk songs and things like that.
Nice.
One of them you hear this. You hear a familiar story about a really resilient young woman who did everything she could for her people.
Hey.
Not the exact same version as you heard before, but you hear the sort
That's how myths work.
hear how the Kosian version of the myth goes, which is a little different than the version that Fendir was told growing up and told and shared with you all. So, it is it's still somber, but it does become that sort of get to that point where everyone is sort of throwing off that grief for just this brief moment of respite, and remembering that they're still here, they're still together. And you guys both take inspiration if you don't have it, because you guys both had some really cute little moments of like building community and stuff this session. So far.
Love Vanya feeling emotions and not knowing why.
I love that for him.
I know. Vanya being taken by the orphanage kids is very not taken with them. Not taken by them. That would be crazy. Vanya's kidnapped by a bunch of orphans.
Next arc.
Yeah, and eventually the embers on this bonfire die down a little bit. Folks sort of do depart back to their rooms as the moons overhead move across the sky. And eventually you all do retire to your bedrolls and are able to finally, after one of the longest spans of days in memory, take a restorative rest.
Bedtime.
Bedtime.
Yay!
And it is a new day, so things like that recover on a new day, like Eagle Whistle, I think, would and other stuff you guys have would also come back. Yeah, those hit point recovery totals are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You all fall into deep slumbers, a kind of sleep that is so when your bodies are so tired and exhausted and spent that you don't that there's not even the possibility of dreaming, and wake up in the morning to the first rays of sunshine again. Again, another blessing after these days of darkness and misery. As you hear the hustle and bustle of the city around you and bells ringing as a ship has appeared on the horizon. That you understand to be the promised arrival of Zan, bringing aid from his family to this town.
All right.
Well, Baron, you go meet Brock and Ironbrow at the sort of makeshift docks that are that have been erected down below for in anticipation of Zan's arrival, since the normal landing place is still barred by the rubble across the bay. But sort of a series of like ramps and shored up like grapples, so that where you guys had to traverse that muddy slope, they've sort of put in things that make it possible to get supplies up from the ocean level. And you see approaching from the east is a small fleet of ships, of metal ships, sort of the vibes of, but less violent, like the Fire Nation ships in Avatar. So like,
aesthetics,
metal, aesthetically metal. And at the front helm, Fendir points out and says, "Aye, that's Zan for you. Always have to make a show of things." As you see a single figure sort of standing at the most dramatic place of right at the prow of the boat. Is the prow the front?
Yeah.
I knew May would know which direction was which on a boat. Standing on the prow and sort of doing like a big wave of triumphant return, not return, but triumphant arrival, and a little bit soaking up the heroism of the moment and the aesthetic of it. The boats dock below, and Zan and a handful of the crew, not everybody leaves yet, they sort of make their way up the sort of temporary wooden paths that are sort of zigzagged up through the slope to make things a little bit easier. And you see on his approach, you see he's tall for a dwarf, with sandy blonde hair. He's, tall for a dwarf, 5'9"-ish, sandy blonde hair, a beard trimmed, shorter than most of the dwarves you've seen, more of a Prisman style, so sort of not close cropped, but not Gandalfian either, or even Fendir's is much longer, not long enough to put into a hair tie around. He's dressed in fine clothes that seem to have a slight sheen to them, that are impeccably clean, even after a day or two's boat journey over the water. And as he approaches your group, immediately gives a big bro hug to Fendir. Or they high five and they come in and they clasp around each other and sort of do a hoorah, sort of like manly men sort of energy, and then gives a hearty handshake to Brock Ironbrow, and then because you guys are part of this greeting welcoming party, also shakes your hands each in turn, and you do notice even that brief moment that his hands are not as calloused as you've come to know like Fendir's to be, or any of the other dwarves you've seen around this place who work in the mines. He turned, oh gosh, I'm just to have conversations with myself is always the worst part of DMing.
Yeah.
Fendir, didn't expect you to be here, but what a great surprise. Dad sent me over with some supplies and some aid for Brock. Brock, it's great to see you as well. My dad sends his regards. He's sorry he can't be here himself. Why don't we speak? Is there somewhere we could speak in your office, perhaps? About sort of the offer on the table. Yeah. Okay, great. Let's go. And you all make your way back into the town hall. No one tells you can't tag along, so you might as well. Since Fendir is very much acting like this is a place where they're meant to be.
Vanya is gonna do this the way that he's been walking into rooms he wasn't technically invited into since childhood, and just feel like if I just tag along at the back, no one will notice. Worked a lot better when he wasn't over 6 feet tall, but
yeah. You all, Brock, Ironbrow, sort of a little, right, yeah, of course we can go speak in my office. Do you need some crew to help your crew, some able bodies to help your crew unload the aid? And Dan looks behind him and sort of, I think they'll be okay. They can get started, and we'll sort of the first couple of crates they should be able to get up by themselves, and then we'll sort of figure out the best plan of attack there. Great. Well, thank you so much for your hospitality here. So, who are you? We haven't met before.
we've not. My name is Vanya's house.
Great. And now you get another handshake, just being like, I just sort of matter of habit before, just sort of handshake everyone down the line. You don't really realize what faces you know or you don't, except for, of course, Fendir. Fendir's like, my man. No, that's not what Fendir wouldn't say my man like that. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Some people act more broy around their bros. It's okay.
Zan Coinkeeper, pleasure to meet you. Here on behalf of my father, to discuss business. I think we can, Proc, I think we can clear the room. Sorry, Fendir. It's just, Coinkeeper business dealings, closed doors are sort of the policy. So if you wouldn't mind.
We're not going anywhere.
Right, and sorry, and your name, I didn't catch your...
Well, you also didn't ask.
Right. Fendir has gotten on me about that before. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. My name is Zan Coinkeeper. What is your name?
Fear Cora.
Viren. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And we'll put his hand on it and we'll try to kiss Viren's hand if she'll let him. And like with like a bow.
No, Fearon's low-key icked by him. She's like, haha, thanks.
Right. And sorry, how do you fit in to this room?
We traveled here
stand
from
in it.
Prisma with Fendir.
Oh.
Oh, you're friends of Fendir. Oh, okay. Sorry, friends of Fendir, friends of mine. Was not expecting even Fendir to be here. Right. So I guess then you can be on this side of the door. Okay. Great. Well, we're all trying to get Kosi back up and running as quickly as possible. It's our shared goal here. So, Brock, the best way about doing that is, so my father we have the 3 ships down there, and he does have 2 more on deck being packed up right now to send additional aid if needed, additional, medications, antibiotics, can send a couple of healers, divine healers, to help channel the light of the prism into your injured guys. How does that sound? And Brock Ironbrow looks like, yeah, that all sounds fantastic. We have some folks come in from the neighboring villages, but it's nothing like Stackage's resources. If the Iron City can send help, then we'll take whatever you're willing to give us. Really appreciate. Sorry, I did not write the right name down in the right note doc.
That's okay. I really appreciate everything. I didn't expect Gork to be so generous, but yes, we'll absolutely love to. Like I said, how can we get my guys down there and helping your crew unload the ships? As soon as possible. We need lumber. We need food. We need medical supplies. We need to reassure that we need new materials for the mechanism to be fixed. Everything would be so helpful. And Zan, yes, my father Gork is very generous, and so I think you'll find that this this to be as generous as well. And slides across a piece of parchment across the big desk. Yeah. To Brock, who looks confused for a moment and picks it up, and I start skimming over it, his face falling further and further, and a man that you thought couldn't seem more broken when you told him that you couldn't find his son
or when he had asked you to find both of his children, break somehow even further.
Should I send Squip to steal the letter so we can read it?
I feel like we've gotten the gist.
I mean, you could. It would be pretty obvious if your monkey took a piece of paper out of someone's hand in the middle of a room.
Wasn't thinking it wouldn't be obvious.
Question.
Just here and do that? Yeah.
Is Brock the kind of guy who, like, mouths the words as he reads?
Not all of them, but...
Okay, because Vanya can read lips.
Yeah. But she doesn't read all of them because I did not write a letter for this. This does not need a letter to be written for. Vanya, you do see when the very first things he sort of emails himself as he sees this, like, as he pulls his paper in front of him, is offer of sale.
Yep. All right.
What?
Vanya's gonna look to Fendir for, like, what's the
sale of what? Am I missing something?
The supplies.
Oh, sorry, no. Let me be clear.
They're asking for money in exchange for the aid.
No, that is not. Sorry, Vanya. It said you'll see Vanya he'll instead word mouth intent to purchase.
Oh,
like
yeah,
they want to buy the town.
That was my first thought.
Mine.
But, Brock puts down the letter and looks up at Zan. I don't understand. What you're trying to do. You want to buy the mine? Now? When it won't be operational for months, fully at least. I mean, we might get some people back in there in the next couple of weeks, but and Zan nods and is sort of doing that like steepled fingers together thing.
Gross. I hate men.
How much money were they intending to buy the town or the mine for?
You don't know, because the only reason Vanya knows is because Vanya read Mouth read that, but that has not been said out loud or intimated thus point.
But I have Squip go and read the note and then somehow tell me.
Can Squip read?
Excellent question.
He's a robot.
I'm gonna say that Squip cannot read because if he was a familiar, the way that I would like, if he was a real familiar, then the mechanics of that would be you can see through the familiar's eyes and you can read while you're in the familiar's eyes. This is why I argue with Jared constantly with Biv. Because I was like, if I'm in Biv's eyes, I can read.
He doesn't have any languages.
But if I'm not in the eyes, Biv can't read. So because you don't have the ability to sort of work into Squip the same way that a traditional familiar does, because he's a little robot monkey guy, and you have different abilities with him, I'm going to say no, Squip cannot
Fair enough.
read.
Yeah, Vanya's going to look to Fendir for cues on to what extent we ought to involve ourselves.
Fendir is remaining quiet at this point, but their face is like very like contorted in the brow furrowed confusion and like lack of understanding, because they have as much information as you do at this point about what's happening.
Can I do like an intelligence check or something to like guess how much they would be offering how much money they would be offering for the mine or to buy the mine?
You can do.
Like
I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't.
But
I'm
what
not thinking
are you trying to glean from that?
I'm not thinking like exact number.
Yeah.
Like a range, because like I have almost 1,000 gold.
Oh, it would be
It's
way
way
more
more
than that. It's
damn
like
it.
girl.
I don't know how much a gold is worth. I mean, I do, but also Anna doesn't.
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm willing to bet that this is an advantageous time for them to make a financial offer for it, because if it were to sell, it would sell lower right now because it's not operational. They're taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah. So Brock has had said this thing about, oh, it's not gonna be operational for another couple months. And Zan does a steeple finger thing. The Coinkeeper family is very understanding of that, and we really would like to support the mine and Kosi as in the process of rebuilding. But as you can imagine, resupplying a town and rebuilding a mine costs a fair bit of coin. And so my father does believe we need an avenue to recoup our losses and our expenses there. And we do believe this is a fair price for the mine itself, in order to eventually recoup those expenses.
where did his family get his money? Like, what kind of
Coinkeepers?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's some sort of business.
Yes. So, and I'll say, you'll know this because even though you're not familiar with so much with Redona, you've spent a couple of days with Fendir at this point. You would have talked about it. At some point, their best friend probably would have come up. So you would know that the Coinkeeper family is that Gorek Cornkeeper is like the leader of Redona as a province. Within the so he's like the governor or the, it's like a is plutocracy the right word? Which one is that?
I think so, yeah. If I'm catching your drift, then that is the correct word.
Yes, it's a plutocracy sort of. So it's the Iron City, which on the map is the is Stackaju, but mostly called Iron City because Stackaju is a mouthful. It is an ancient city with tall iron walls that is sort of the capital of Redona, and it is where the Prisma's mint and treasury is located. So the Coinkeeper family does preside over the treasury, which is of course, a communal and public resource. But the Coinkeeper family is generous enough to have allowed the Prismaran government to use their facilities for storage and for the mint and the storage, because they've been processing metals for centuries, millennia type thing. And so they, for all intents and purposes, control the treasury. And sort of in that same way I said before of like, food from John gets to other places. Like they're not actually like hoarding the wealth themselves, but they do have, a good amount of power and say over that. And so Goric Cornkeeper is sort of involved in the day-to-day running of Redona as a city, Redona as a province, Stackaju as a city, and ostensibly also the mint and treasury itself, including the sort of negotiations with other provinces for trading in goods and services. And in addition to the Redonian like ambassador type person who lives in Prisma to deal with the sort of Redonian interests within those other matters. So sort of partnered with that. But that is what the Coin Keeper family is in the business of.
Holding back my instinctual, impulsive Thessaly choices in this scenario.
Okay, I'll do it. The fuck? Like, that's such a bullshit thing to do to your own people. What the hell is wrong with you? Whatever happened to the little dwarf girl that went off to save her own people at her own expense just to do something so selfless? What happened to that?
She weren't in the Coin Keeper family.
Roll me.
Can it be intimidation?
Yeah, roll with and roll with advantage.
Whee! Yes, using their culture against them.
God damn it! I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay, 13.
Can I please
Xan
use
sort of just like
inspiration?
turns his head. Just did you want to use inspiration?
Please.
No. Yeah, go for it.
That's just one then, correct?
Yes, it's like rolling a third die, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Better than a 7. Come on.
Technically, it's better than a 7.
Than 13. 15 feels like that could work maybe.
13 might have worked. This seems like an easily intimidated little pussy of a man. Listen, my notes literally say, I'm immediately untrusting of this boob-touching prissy boy.
Xan spins around in place, making eye contact with you, Fearon, but doesn't really acknowledge what you said. But on the same spin, turns to Fendir, and looks at Fendir and says, "Mate, your friends are. Can you get him to whatever that is?"
Hey, you can talk to me. I am a person in the room that you are currently in. You can talk directly to me. You don't have to talk to me through Fendir. They're great and all, but I'm a person too, and seems like you're being a dick to these people who are very vulnerable right now. Like, what the hell, mate?
Don't know what to say to that. You're not really involved with this business. You're here as a courtesy to my good friend, Fendir.
We're here because people are in danger and in need and dying. That's why we're here.
And that is also why I'm here. So we're aligned in our goals.
Ollie.
Yes, we all want to see Kosi thrive again.
Then you wouldn't be taking advantage of them, would you?
Sorry, you cut out. Repeat that.
Sorry. Then you wouldn't be taking advantage of them, would you?
But
Mr. Coinkeeper, when you say you want to see Kosi thrive, just to ensure that we really are aligned, to make sure we have an understanding here, on the same page per se, are you referring to the town of Kosi or the people of Kosi?
oh, both, of course.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure our terminology was clear.
yes, the town, the mine, the people, they're all important to my family to see thrive again.
That felt so forced. I mean, surely, like, surely your reputation is important to you, and surely you realize how bad it would look to take Kosi's to buy out their mine from underneath them while they're suffering. Surely you realize that's a bad look. And that can't be doing any favors for you.
I think you have the wrong idea here. My goal is to help the people here by providing that much needed recovery and aid supplies. Everybody wins in this scenario. They have a new benefactor, they have supplies, they have aid, they have medication. We have more ships that can come and support and provide, old growth lumber to shore up the mine tunnels. I don't like your insinuation that I do not care for the people. Dodona is my home.
Can I make an insight check on the rest of the people in the room to see if they are more on my side or this guy's side? Or, like, if they think I am very out of line. I know I am, but, like, also, I think I'm just saying what's on everyone's mind. Did that roll? I clicked the button. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, your rollers are middle of the road today. Farron, you trust your understanding of Brock's Ironbrow's just sort of despair at seeing this offer, that to know enough that he finds the offer near incredible. Just like the fact that there's an offer, that this is happening at all, is incredible to him.
Incredible
like,
bad or incredible good?
And in the truest definition of the word, like incredible, like not believable, like unbelievable.
Yeah, like, this is at the very least not the time, bro.
And you see Fendir. Fendir's harder to read because Fendir is harder to read in this moment because this is somebody that they've previously described as their best friend. And the person that you see before you doesn't seem like somebody Fendir would be friends with based on your knowledge of them as a person. And that Fendir is just very sort of confused by what's occurring. Like, this doesn't like also incredible to them in that sense of they don't believe what's happening because this is not something they ever imagined would they witness or encounter from their best friend. So you get the sense that everyone is on the same page about this being like a crazy thing that's happening. Yeah, that's what you get. I
have a thing I could do, but I really don't know whether it would actually help the situation materially at all.
I think it sounds like fun. I think you should do it.
Okay. Because the thing is, I can make him have to tell us the truth, but I don't know that we'd get much more about that. You know what? Why not? Why not add more tension to a scenario that doesn't need that?
Yeah.
Vanya will go ahead and I will do this in the more polite way of the two I came up with. Vanya will go ahead and, as if he were going in for another handshake almost, go to take Zan's hand in that way. But I think I need to make an attack roll for this. And in this case, I am not attempting to do damage. Because that's allowed. I will need to make... hang on. I need to make an attack roll anyway. Maybe? If he
what feature ability are you using? Are you using a Cobalt Soul thing?
I put it up. It's Extort Truth.
This is so cool.
This is your new thing, right? It's like the new thing you just got? Yes, okay.
It's the part of the bug that says, like, if I wish to impose this effect without doing damage. So I think I still have to make an attack roll. Unless he's going to let me take his hand, in which case I guess we skip to the charisma saving throw.
Yeah, okay. It says, dang, I really wish you didn't... I know it's good in the text. I'm like, dang, I wish I could have made you hurt him anyways, just to add some drama. But no, it's okay. Yeah, roll an attack roll. It's going to be AC.
Yeah.
You roll and I'll let you know if it hits. That's how I'll say that.
I mean, depending on how the situation developed, my original idea was to do this by, like, twisting his arm behind his back in the way that you do. But I thought, considering that we haven't gone quite there yet, I would just go pressure points in the hands. But let's see how this goes. All right.
Heather, even a roasted chicken.
Roasted chicken.
No. You just got inspiration.
I feel like I should use it at literally any better moment than in a moment where I don't know if this would actually add value to the situation.
Fair enough.
All that happens as a result of me missing this is I don't grab the man's hand when I was going to grab the man's hand, so I don't think it's going to make our situation measurably worse.
Yeah, Vanya, you sort of lunge, in your dexterous way for this man, as he moves towards Brock to speak more closely and miss. Had he not moved, you would have gotten his hand, but what you gonna do? He approaches Brock and sort of
Vanya tries to cover it up by awkwardly bending down as if he was going to tie his shoes, but his shoes don't have laces.
He does look back at you with a strain. It was Brock, I urge you to think about this carefully. This is a fair offer and would mean that the burden is off your shoulders. You would no longer be responsible for these people. You could actually retire.
Yeah.
And Brock, I don't know. This is my family's legacy. Can I have some time to think about it? And yeah, can I have some time? Zan nods sort of serenely in a oh, of course. I'll have my men unload the first ship with the unload the first ship of aid to start, and we can take it from there once you've made your decision.
So
You're
your
holding
humanitarian
supplies
aid is contingent?
hostage.
It is not contingent.
Then why not unload both ships? Or all of your ships? You said you have 2 extra back at the Iron City anyway. Why not just go ahead and unload all of the ships if it's not contingent?
These supplies are from the private stores of the Coinkeeper family, and for recovery in our own family mines. Should we give them to the people of Kosi without, give everything we have to the people of Kosi without the appropriate measures in place, we'll be left blindsided should another natural disaster hit. It is not unreasonable to
Okay, but if you thought you
beggars
couldn't...
cannot be choosers, you see. We are offering aid, and you are saying it is not the right kind of aid. You're making
No. You
little
offered
sense.
You offered aid and then said, "Oh wait, but you have to do this for me first, or else you're like dangling a treat above a dog and not letting it have it because it's not doing. You want it to do something specific."
That is,
If you didn't,
you're misunderstanding the conversation. You're misunderstanding the situation entirely. It's
if you couldn't
this is why I wish
spare
you
the
to the room. If
supplies,
you're not business people, you do not understand the ways of how this works.
Yes,
yeah, but
I
I
have
know
limited
people.
funds and supplies. We cannot give everyone
If
everything.
you couldn't spare the supplies, why load them up onto the ships in the first place? That's so much manual labor and like time, energy that's been wasted. If you couldn't spare any of it, of like the other stuff, why go through the trouble of bringing it all here anyway?
We are on our reef stock route to make sure all of the Coinkeeper family mines have all the supplies they need should a disaster occur. Given the scope of this disaster, we redirected our group, or the latter two. One ship we packed just to bring aid. That's the ship I was on. I brought help. I brought lumber. I brought grain. I brought I brought dried meat. I brought the things we could spare. I'm here to help. Fendir, please tell them I'm here to help.
I'm simply attempting to understand. As you seem to be aware, I am not well versed in economic and financial dealings.
Clearly.
I'm attempting to understand. I apologize for...
Please, he's way more well versed in this shit than I am, so don't you be giving him your attitude bullshit. He hasn't done anything. Sorry,
Everyone just
continue.
Fendir.
If I understanding correctly, you are invested, whether financially or simply in a more metaphorical sense, you are invested in the long-term success of Kosi. Am I correct?
That is the problem, you see. We are not invested. It's what we were trying to do.
Right. I understand that you are not currently financially invested, but for the financial health of the region of Redona, it is advantageous for Kosi to thrive, is it not?
Yes, of course.
In which case, in the long term, it is advantageous to your family and the region for Kosi to thrive, whether you currently have a financial investment here or not, I believe.
That's what circulation is, baby.
My
Sorry.
family has a vested interest in seeing Redona thrive. Yes. Of course. My father leads this province. We want all of its peoples to be able to eat, work, and sleep safely, especially in conditions when mines are inherently dangerous. But we do not have the resources to hand out boats on boats of aid to every collapsed mine that happens in an earthquake. I have one ship of supplies that are offered, and it turns out a Brock to offered no strings attached. They are just a gift from the Coinkeeper family to the people of Kosi, and to help recover from this tragedy. Turns back to you guys. We do have additional ships that are available with available supplies should we be able to come to an agreement that would turn this into a Coinkeeper mine. We have additional resources for Coinkeeper mines, as we have a vested interest in keeping those in tip-top shape.
As long as you consider this mine a potential future asset, don't you have a certain level of vested interest here as well?
That is what the offer letter on the desk here is about.
Correct, but for instance, if you were to consider a potential future asset, as in months, years down the line, that would strategically be a good investment, correct? Because even if you were to own the mine right now and then put the resources into it, you would still, that would not mean that you had extra resources other than that to give to your other mines. So whether you think of it as a current asset or a potential future asset, I would think that it would be the strategic decision to invest in it either way.
As you said before, you are not well versed in economic matters.
I have studied game theory, however.
Just game. Sorry.
Brock, my crew is unloading the first ship as we speak. Make a decision on the rest, and I can either send them on their way to the next mine to restock, or we can unload their supplies as well for the people of Kosi. I'll be on the ship, helping them unload. You can find me there. Nods to Brock, clasps Fendir on the shoulder, on his way out, and doesn't really acknowledge
fair
either
enough.
of you two.
Yeah, Farron glares daggers at him as he walks out.
Tanya gives a little polite nod.
Kieran's
Tanya's
gripping
very polite,
her
yeah.
halberd.
Fendir immediately looks at you guys. He's not usually like that. I've never seen him.
The way you described him definitely did not sound like that.
Never seen him like this before.
Perhaps he's under more pressure than usual from his father.
His father's Gorak's a hard ass. And this kind of thing.
Fearon's gonna turn to Brant.
Brock.
Brock.
Yeah, Brant
That's
has
what-
no leg.
Brand's all
Sorry.
putting legs. No, you're good. You're good.
By the way, how do you spell Zan? Is it
Zann?
V-A-N-N? Thank you.
I'm
glad
Coin
it
Keeper
is,
just the 2 word.
I had initially put it as XIN, and I was like, I don't like him. His name can't be close to Xander.
No, I wouldn't have done that. No, it's Zinn, and Coin Keeper is just like the
Okay.
2 words.
Sorry.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Fendir finish speaking before I turn to Brock.
Of the Coin Keepers, Gorak's bought a couple of mines before. I knew Zan had started helping out because he's not much for the mines and he's not much for smithing. But I didn't expect, didn't realize this was the role he'd taken on. Brock, is it a fair offer? And Brock sort of does that for a moment. How do you put a fair price on your family's legacy? It's Ironbrow Mine. But I don't know how we're gonna get a new mechanism in to get the mine up to full function without the kind of cash that Coin Keeper can offer. And
Bro,
Capitalism, bro. Sheesh. That was not Vanya. Clarify.
it's enough money that I could fuck off right off and retire in style and I believe that the town and mine would recover faster with the kind of resources the Coin Keepers can offer. But then I'm my family for generations, and I guess it could be lower. Could have lowballed me entirely. But I don't know. I don't. How do you make a decision like this?
Brock, I'm sorry for guess, disrespecting your authority by interrupting, but I am not sorry for what I said. I believe what I said wholeheartedly, or else I wouldn't have said it. And I couldn't just watch as this town gets bullied and taken advantage of. Cozy's a nice little town. I guess it's not that little, but it.
Sometimes I call it cozy, like it's cozy, but it's cozy.
Yeah, cozy. But
and no need to apologize. I appreciated the sort of back and forth that gave me time to process and read this offer through again. Yeah, appreciate your stand up for the town when you thought you saw injustice. Would you mind giving me some privacy so I can think on this?
Of course.
Because if you need anything, you can Leot's around. She can help with anything. All right. And like at the sound of her name, Leot sort of appears at the door and sort of leads you all out and closes the door behind you all, leaving. Closing. Brock sitting at his desk in his office, staring at this piece of paper in his hand. I think we can call it there.